Welcome back to another episode of the Booktroverts podcast. I'm Michaela.
I'm Meg.
And today's episode, we are going back to Harry Potter. So we are talking about book 3, which is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. If you've caught the other episodes of this, we're talking about the differences between the books and the movies. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. I know we did like a really deep dive last time. This time, we're just going to highlight the changes, the top changes that we liked, the ones that we were a little bit disappointed by, maybe some that we're a little indifferent on. So we thought that might be a better format. So let's kick it off with just what is your rating of the book? I'll let you go first.
5. I mean, I know we say this every time we talk about this series, is every single one's probably going to be a 5, but we've mentioned it. I think it might have been in the first book when we did the episode for that, but this is my favorite one out of the series. As I reread, though, I'm going to be intrigued to see if I still feel that way, because it's been years since I read them. So it was my favorite back then. But yeah, 5 stars. No complaints.
I have to ask, so, like, what is it about this book that, like, is like, oh, this is, like, I like this one way more than the other? Like, is there an element of the story that you like?
That's a great question. I think
the vibes, like, no wrong answer.
Yeah, I'd probably say some of it is probably the vibes. And then I would say the other half was I really liked how they had a capable defense against the dark arts teacher and they actually learned something. Yeah, exactly. But it was really cool because, you know, they really started to learn more about the area. I also loved the Quidditch aspect of this one. It's a huge piece of it. It's you know, it's not really kind of pushed to the side. I don't know. And this is kind of when they start to really see things on a different level of, oh, okay, you know, we've seen Voldemort twice now in different circumstances, but now we have one of his followers. So it kind of changes the theme a bit, and Voldemort's gone away a bit, which I kind of like. I know that sounds weird because he's like the whole villain, but I like the book not having a minute and having something else happen. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, and I think this is the only book that he's not in.
Yeah, I think so.
He doesn't make an appearance, which is always a nice little formula change.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. It's going to be 5 stars. Like, all of them are 5 stars for me just because, like, the series, I'm never going to rate it anything less. I did text you, though, reading it now as a 31-year-old. I read it for the first time when I was, like, in elementary school. I said to you, wow, I forget when we go back, like, how elementary the writing is. It's supposed to be. It's literally for children. But, again, you see the movies, and they're these, like, cinematic masterpieces to me. And when I'm reading the book, I'm like, wow. First of all, they're so short, 22 chapters. The writing is really short sentences, nothing too crazy being used, nothing super descriptive. And I'm like, wow, this like writing is not what I expect every single time. I think that will change as we get into the larger books. But these first 3, every single time I do a reread, it throws me for a loop. And I have to say, the way she writes the Hagrid dialogue in the book drives me absolutely crazy.
What is it that drives you nuts?
I get she's doing the accent, so like I totally understand. Like, she's trying to write in the way that he speaks, but I'm just like, oh my god. Sometimes I'm like, what am I reading? Like, this makes no sense to me. And I'm like, and then I think I read this as like a 10-year-old, and I knew what was being said here. It doesn't compute for mine, but
that's a fair point.
Yeah, 5 star though. I love it. If I had to get like really technical, it's probably like a 4, but. It's getting a 5 because they're all getting a 5. So it's a stupid question to ask at the beginning of the episodes for these. But
I know.
The writing just throws me for a loop every time.
Yeah, it is so funny because you literally messaged me after you finished it. And it was just so interesting because you do realize that even though they start to add darker elements or different aspects, each year, though, it gets, I don't want to say more dark because that sounds kind of harsh. But at the same time, it kind of does. It does. And it's so nice because you do start to get more of the, oh wow, now we're including people who are deceitful and adding in that aspect, and then the next one's gonna be completely different. And you know, so I like how she really did that. I don't think I could. So
no, yeah,
well done.
I can't speak. I've never written a book. I will say though, looking at it now, of course, I'm like, everyone needs to read this series. This should be like a rite of passage. Like, this should be required reading in school. Everyone needs to read
It really
Harry Potter
should.
books. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, it's a cultural moment. Again, we do not agree with the author's views, but like, it's a cultural moment. Now, though, I'm like, this actually is a great series for children to read because every single book, the writing level increases as you are learning and your reading comprehension skills are growing. And I think that's
Yeah.
so cool because most kids' series, it would all stay the same. And then once you kind of graduate from that reading level, you go to a new series where like this really grows with you.
Exactly. And I will say too, some of the words that she uses, you might need to do a double check as a kid and say, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what that means, but you get to learn in the process too. I know that's
Yeah.
probably not what she meant to do, but, or maybe she did, but I really like how even that, like you said, as you get older and your reading comprehension's different, the words get more enhanced too,
Yeah.
which I really like. It's just, instead of saying something's nice, they go and use a better version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's skill to be able to lay so many Easter eggs. Again, we know how the series ends. To lay so many Easter eggs in these early books with such, I don't want, simple is not the right word, but it's the only word that's coming to me right now, like a simpler writing style. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that she's able to lay so much foundation is
Yeah.
crazy
Even just little
and very impressive.
one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah, one-liners that you just hear from Trelawney and everything. And then
They're
you
like
move
a
forward.
huge plot point later.
Right. Exactly. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's so well it yeah, I love that about books. And I would say even take it away from this series in general. We've talked about so many books over the past couple of years, but
Yeah.
when series do that where you can look back to the first book and
And there were
see
crumbs.
something and it's phenomenal, and that's what
Yeah.
I think really gets me every time. And maybe that's why I have it as a 5 too. Yes, it's a rite of passage and I love the world and everything, but just how well done it is that I
Yeah.
can go back and remember exact point of when that was mentioned the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having all those breadcrumbs, I feel like really helps with rereadability
Mm-hmm.
because then it's fun to be like, oh, I'm going to go back from the beginning. I want to see everything I missed. And then every time you read, you find more, which is always
Yeah.
enjoyable. So I like that. But
Yeah.
the other thing about this book that always throws me for a loop, again, I texted you. I was like, the battle part, like with once they kind of go to Hagrid's hut
Mm-hmm.
and that whole sequence starts all the way to the end. That is a big chunk of the movie. I think it's an hour of the movie. And the movie's 2.5 hours. In the book, it's like 3 chapters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I'm like, I was waiting. I'm like, okay, I know there's 22 chapters. I'm like, chapter 17, like, we're still not there. Like, what? Like, we've just been kind of following them along the class. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
when's the action coming?
Yeah,
It's
because
crazy how condensed it is in the book.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because to your point, the movie, it is about an hour. Because I'm pretty sure I took a break to get a snack right
Mhm.
before that happened, and it still was a huge piece of the movie left.
Yeah, because when she uses the time turner,
Mm-hmm.
there's 30 minutes left in the movie.
Yeah.
And you're seeing
That-
all that twice. It's just, it's wild how quick it is in the book. And yet they still managed to change things for that part, which
Yeah.
is interesting, which can segue us into what we're going to talk about in the episode. So we're basically just going to kind of go through our top 5-ish things that we were either happy they changed or sad they left out.
So I guess I'll start with the first one that I was happy they changed is Crookshank's role in the movie. So in the book, Crookshanks is very important to the entire plot of this book. And we even get it down to towards the end where Harry wakes up in the middle of the night and he sees Crookshanks with the large dog, and he's freaking out because he's seen these visions, but also not visions, but just sights of dogs and then the Grim and all of that stuff. And honestly, was kind of glad they left that out. I mean, because no offense, but they already had to really work in the fact that Scabbers was not who he was supposed to be and was actually a human. So I kind of liked how Crookshanks was just there but wasn't really involved. I don't know. That sounds harsh, but
No, I kind of had something similar to you. I like in the book when they're kind of doing that action sequence. Crookshanks is the one who goes up to the Whomping Willow and puts her, I don't even know what the gender is,
I think it's a he.
puts
think-
his
yeah.
paw up
Yeah.
on the little knot on the tree, and that stops the tree, and that's how they're able to get in. I do like that they remove that from the movie, because then we get the scene where Hermione's like riding the branch and they're getting beat up by the tree. Like, it just adds more suspense to that part.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, I do wish there was a little bit more Crookshanks in relation to, I feel like that could have laid a little more groundwork for Scabbers. In the movie, I feel like they don't lay a ton of groundwork for that compared to the book. In the book, they're constantly talking about Scabbers. It's like Ron just got this rat for the first time, but he's had it for a while. But I mean, in the book, you're early on, they're pointing out, Harry notices, oh, he's missing a toe. He's getting sick. Remember, they have to take him to go get like the rat tonic or whatever.
The rat tonic, yeah.
They notice, like, yeah, he's having some health issues, which could maybe explain later at the end when he turns into a human. He was stressed. And then you have kind of the back and forth of Crookshanks is always chasing after the rat. So there's always conversation going back to Scabbers, and there's not a ton of that in the movie. And I think it comes up like 2 or 3 times. So then it's just like, why is Ron so like overly protective of this rat at the end? I felt like it's a little bit of a loose end.
Agreed. And I guess, and that's kind of the thing too, because if you're going to leave a section out, which like I said, I was kind of okay with, but if you're going to, then remove all other aspects of it too, instead of, like you said, piecemeal it where it's, you know, here and there. Because, yeah, the book does a better job at explaining all of the moments within the year compared to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree. So, yeah, I guess I was with you because I liked how the fight with the Whomping Willow was more played up, because that didn't happen. But I hate that, like, the Crookshanks part of some parts of Crookshanks were taken out. Okay, I'm picking something from the beginning of the movie. So a change that I did not like, and this is a purely selfish thing. I understand we don't need this in the movie, it's fluff. But when Harry gets on the night bus and it drops him off at the leaky cauldron, I like in the book how he's greeted outside by the minister. And Ron and Hermione are there pretty soon after. Like, I wish we got like a little montage of Harry basically living his life in Diagon Alley, because he's there for a month. Yeah, he's there for a month. And, you know, he's like eating cakes, he's doing his schoolwork, like living his best life. Mainly, I just want more Diagon Alley, because it's my favorite like set piece that they go to in the film. It's just so cool. And that could have maybe helped with the Crookshanks thing, because that's when Hermione gets the cat. We get the rat tonic, we see the Egypt picture, and honestly the main thing though that I really missed from the book was when Harry overhears Arthur and Molly talking about Sirius.
Yes.
Because I feel like they give him pretty crucial information there. Granted, in the movie they do have Arthur talk to him, and he gives him a little bit more than in the book, but I did like that, because it gave him a little bit of time to kind of process what's actually going on.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. I didn't have it on my list, but yeah, the entire beginning would have just been so fun having that aspect. And I agree with you. I love Diagon Alley. I think it's so fun. We don't get enough time there in the series, which I think they should have done a little bit differently. But yeah, I think that would have been so cool. And then I think to your point too, where they went with the movie with the rest of Scabbers and Crookshanks, if they just had that little bit, like you said in the beginning, I think that would have been enough to give a reason why, compared to just all of a sudden they're at, you know, the place staying and they're bickering with each other and moving forward. I'm like, wait, where did you get this cat? When did that happen?
Yeah,
there was a whole time.
Like she's just had this cat, and all of a sudden now we're talking about the cat. But I mean, truly, she goes in to get an owl in the book, sees the cat, falls in love with the cat. The cat instantly hates the rat. And so it's already like an immediate, like, what is the cat sensing? And puts it kind of in the back of your head. I just feel like they could have worked it in.
Yeah.
And then
Especially like you said,
and
the hour ending.
Yeah, and we missed the kids buying their books.
I know. Oh, that would have been
Because
perfect.
the minister bought Harry his books. Also, like, Hagrid gifts his book to Harry for his birthday in the book. There's just like some little things. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, agreed.
I wanted some shopping in Diagon Alley. 5 minutes.
And eating ice cream.
And eating ice cream. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so similarly, in something that I was very bummed that they did not bring into the movie that I think would have helped with the whole storyline was the pocket sneakoscope. That thing is so important.
Yeah.
Now, first time reading it was years ago when you had me read it before we went to Disney and Universal. I did not pick up on the fact that that thing was alerting people that someone here was deceiving everyone. They thought it was broken. Harry would just shove it inside his socks and then in his suitcase and move forward. That thing goes off anytime they're talking about Scabbers and he's in the room with them, you know, all of that stuff. And that just would have been such a good breadcrumb because to my part with Crookshanks being left out, I had no problem with that. But the sneakoscope, I would have loved being in there because I think that would have been a cool aspect of another wizard thing. I don't even know how to say that properly, but you know, something in the wizarding world that's different than just a broom. And, you know, the creatures. It would have been so cool to have something unique in there, too. But they didn't do it.
And, like you said, it would be a great breadcrumb because I believe Ron says in the book that he got it in Egypt. And he said, ever since we went on the trip, it's been acting weird. And, like, I think it's broken. And he sends it to Harry for his birthday. And, yeah, like you said, it's just another magical item that we could be introduced to.
That's the wording. Magical item.
Yeah, I feel like that's an easy thing. Like, it's a couple lines you have to throw in the movie in an item.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big of a deal. Instead, though, we got, which I feel like was an addition of them eating those weird candies that made them make animal noises.
Yeah. I had said the only reason why they probably added that was to show that they have such a bond as a group, that they're, you know, this little clan. But as the books go on, not the books, as the movies go on, those people kind of just become real side characters. They are not involved. So
don't even get me started on the erasure of Neville Longbottom in the movies. Like his entire plot line of like why he's actually super important.
Yeah.
But no, I agreed. I feel like that would have been such an easy thing. And I mean, they had the Howler in the second one. Like it would just be something different than a broom.
Yeah, because that's the big focus in the movies is if we're doing anything, it's going to be Quidditch because that's what Harry likes, and that's it. Yeah. I would have liked more.
Going off that, I don't really love the placement of the firebolt in the movie. How it's just something he's given at the end, and then it's with the feather from Buckbeak, so it's so obvious it's from Sirius, and it's like an inside thing between Harry and Hermione. I like in the book that, like, first of all, Hermione's taking double classes and is still having time to monitor everyone's packages and send them to McGonagall. But I like you said, Quidditch is such a big thing, and it's not really in this movie at all. Like, I don't even think they mentioned that they're going for the Quidditch Cup. Like, Oliver Wood, where is he? Having his meltdown about, like, this is his last year he can win. But the firebolt's, like, a big part because they have multiple scenes where it's being checked for all these magical jinxes. It's tied to the fat lady portrait being destroyed. Also, it brings Crookshanks in because then we find out that the broom came from Sirius, but he created a bond with Crookshanks, which also led him to the rat. Like, there's just
so much.
So I don't love it at the end. Also, logistically, the way it's in the movie, it makes zero sense. He's off in the woods on this hippogriff, and I'm supposed to expect that he was managing to fill out an order form for the firebolt and have it at Hogwarts within a couple days.
Trust me, I thought about the same exact thing. I also think the end scene of him flying and then it's just his face, Patrick and I were laughing. He goes, this is the worst ending of all of the movies. He goes, that was such a pivotal part of this series because, like we said, they win the Quidditch Cup. They've been talking about it. Oliver Wood literally has been freaking out about this for years. You know, he finally had his moment. They win, all that stuff. And none of that was there. And it just, I don't know. I feel like that would have even added to Hermione, like you said, with the multiple classes and how she still had time to do all this and figure everything out. It just, it kind of felt like another year and nothing was really crazy. She wasn't even stressed. There was no signs of stress at all.
In the book, she has like multiple meltdowns, and she's also helping Hagrid prepare for his case. And like when she storms out of Trelawney, she says stuff to Trelawney. Like in the movie, she just walks out. I know you had Quidditch on your list too, so I'll leave that to you. But I had a question: the match where Harry gets attacked by the Dementors in the book, aren't they facing Slytherin in that match? Am I misremembering?
No. So they don't face him because Malfoy uses his arm injury.
That's what it is.
And cries about it for weeks. And oh my God, I was gonna get cut off. Blah blah blah.
They do not do enough to like promote the Draco Harry feud.
I know, because even in this one, when Hermione punches him, that's another big moment because she doesn't break rules. Really, I mean, she does slowly over the series, and she's punching someone. I mean, in the movie, it was she just punches them and it feels good or whatever. But in the book, it was such a strong moment of just she's had it with people acting like they're better than others and all of this stuff, and she's sick of it. And I don't know, there was so much that it was just I would have really liked them there. Yeah, I would say that the next two that I had were indifferent. So I wasn't super upset, but kind of just, all right. The first one was how Harry learns about Sirius's role in his life. So when he finds out about the fact that it's his godfather and everything, they don't have the cloak with them. He isn't running into a bar and then opening a door twice, once to get in the room and then another one to somehow get out with no one being suspicious that the door just opened by itself. So it was weird because I really liked how when they were in, they were getting the butterbeer, Hermione just moves all the trees to hide them and they're all sitting there and Harry's underneath the table. I would have liked that so much more as a scene than him running inside and then running back. And I can get if you have to bring the cloak because they obviously don't want to do too many Hogsmeade visits in one movie, and that's fine. But that would have been so much better than him running up and downstairs. I don't know. Maybe that's
I completely agree. And logistically makes, how is this even a thing?
Yeah. I paused the movie to complain about it.
Hermione can see the footprints in the snow, but they can't hear the door opening. Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Very suspicious about the entire process of that.
Yeah. While we're on things that logistically, like, I don't understand, this was a change I did not love. So this is jumping to the end, but I like how in the book, when they're in the Shrieking Shack, when Lupin comes in and then Snape quickly follows after him. One, I like that Snape in the book says, I followed you because you never came to get your potion from me. And it's the moon. The movie, I mean, we get the scene where Snape is like filling in for the class and talking about the werewolf, but I just like in the book because that kind of like ups the stakes when he's like, it's fine, I'll be fine, whatever. But then it makes it more sense why 5 minutes later he's turning into a werewolf. Also, it makes more sense for why did Snape actually follow him?
Yeah, because in the movie, he's like, oh, you left that parchment on your desk and I knew where to find you. But it wasn't And then when Lupin starts changing, Sirius is pretty much saying, "You didn't take your tonic. Remember who you are," or whatever.
Yeah, like
What?
that's how you find out. But I would have liked if you knew that Snape was the one making it, because then it's like, okay, yeah, he knew what was going on. That's why he was suspicious. Also, I mean,
Yeah.
I just like in the book how Harry knocks him out and they have to magically carry him up to the castle. And then in
He
the
just-
movie, he
yeah.
just like pops out the hole.
Yeah, I thought that
No
was really
anything
weird.
on him. Like you had an entire bed just fall on you.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot there that they spent an hour on. They
Yeah.
could have kept in majority of what was in the book, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. But on the flip side for that scene, which was something I did like, was I like in the movie how they have Harry looking at the map and he sees Peter Pettigrew on it and he goes exploring, because I feel like that's a good way to introduce him
Mm-hmm.
to the kids. I mean, granted, Harry had heard the story about Peter dying, but he doesn't really get all the context of, like, we don't hear about the explosion on the Muggle Street, all that. So I think
Yeah.
they needed that in there. And then Lupin's able to reference that, like, oh, when you mentioned you saw him on the map, like, blah, blah, blah. But also in the movie, they don't even tell us that Lupin is the maker of the map.
Nope.
They
No,
don't
it's
mention
just that
any of
he
that.
hints. He literally hints to Harry, and I think it was because when Harry was going back to his the room, and he goes, "I'll know if you went anywhere else," and just kind of pointed at the map, and that was
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
you could say, okay, he could have figured out exactly like the Weasley twins. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
It's just, and in the book, though, when he tells him, yeah, it was me, Sirius, your dad, Peter, and then he's able
Mhm.
to explain, like, why the Patronus is important, and that's what his dad's name was. Like, there's so much that's missing from that because they just didn't include that little conversation. Also in the movie, it drives me nuts. Like, Snape catches Harry looking in the thing, tries to do the parchment. Lupin takes it, Harry follows him, and immediately Lupin's like, oh, I don't even know how you got this map. And Harry doesn't even question, like, how do you know it's a map?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just weird. There's like some loophole, like some plot holes in the movie, and I
Yeah.
get they're just trying to face it, but I'm like, logically, this does not make sense of why. Like, the book had good reasonings for why people were where they were.
Mm-hmm. Also, can we just talk about the fact that the Weasley brothers figured out this map without any instructions on what
Oh,
to
yeah.
say?
They just knew to say, like, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
The only thing I can think of, and I said this to Patrick, because it was made by 4 tricksters and they wanted to be funny about things, did they put stuff in there that if you sense someone who is a similar mindset,
maybe.
did it reveal? Because those 2 boys are number 1 in terms of the chaos at that school, and we don't get enough of it in the movies.
Yeah.
They must have. I feel like there would have been something there, because that's something that's completely missed throughout the entire book
Yeah, they
and
don't
movie.
ever
That's
say-
not
yeah.
ever mentioned. Yeah. So I'm
They
like,
just took
did
it
they
from
just
Filch.
say, yeah, exactly. We took it our first detention or something like that.
Mhm.
It's, yeah, that was so
I
weird.
have no clue about that. But there's just some certain things. Like, so I liked Harry seeing Peter. Kind of
Yeah.
such a shock when they're like, oh, that's Peter at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Harry doesn't
Yeah.
question that. Lupin knows immediately it's a map. He also doesn't give Harry the context of this is like my dad's posse. Like, my dad helped make this map.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much more ties, because it's another thing of his parents that we know so much about from the series is he's trying to grasp to any piece of information and ties to his parents, because they were a big part that unfortunately weren't in his life, and he really wanted that. And even if it's something as sneaky as a map, it's just something else that he could add to the list.
Yeah, but then they change other things to bring that theme in, like the whole like Bogart thing when he's trying to learn how to do the Patronus, and Lupin's asking him, like, what memory do you have that's really strong? In the book, his memory that he uses is finding out he's a wizard.
Mm-hmm. Not
And
his
how
parents.
excited he was that he doesn't have to be with his aunt and uncle anymore. And then all of a sudden, the movie, it's like, it's just a memory of my parents talking to me. I don't even know if it's real. I'm like, where did you see this from?
Yeah.
Are you a baby in this memory? I'm so confused. And I
This
think the
from
wizard one is
the mirror
way
in the
better.
first one.
I just wish they
It's
would have
like-
kept the wizard one. I feel like it's so much
Yeah.
better. And then again,
Agreed.
it just reiterates he hates being with his aunt and uncle, which is
Yeah.
why he was so excited about Sirius being like, you can come live
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah. So my last one that I had was still around the ending. It was done differently in terms of the suspense with Lupin when he is a werewolf. So in the book, it's pretty much he turns into a werewolf and Sirius turns back into the dog, and they kind of tumble or whatever, and they go down similar to actually how the movie is at that point. However, after that, it changes. Harry is running immediately to Sirius, but what happens in the movie is, Hermione's out in the middle of the woods when they do the time turner, howling like a werewolf. That does not happen. They're literally chilling inside Hagrid's hut at that moment. So there were so many parts that was just, I don't know if they added to give more suspense to the movie. Probably, if I had to guess, but it was so weird because rereading it, I completely forgot they literally just took Buckbeak and hid inside Hagrid's hut for a few minutes. And then Harry was just curious on if his dad was going to appear and do the Patronus, but it's really him. And, there were just so many things. I was like, okay, I guess we're just adding Lupin in more to give him a bad time and really show the werewolf side. I don't know. It was
Honestly,
odd.
it probably was just to create suspense and
Yeah.
ooh, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna make it? But
Mhm.
again, like we have Buckbeak just in the middle of the woods, just sitting there eating birds, and we're supposed to expect he's just sitting there, and then he has to come in and save them. Like
Yeah.
too much. And
Yeah.
in the book, it's so stressed. You cannot do anything to call attention to yourself when you are time traveling
Mhm.
because you can't mess it up. Yet we have her howling. We have him do. I mean, granted, in the book he does the Patronus too, but like we're adding in extra things that they're doing.
Mhm.
She's throwing
Way
rocks
too
at their
many.
head
Yeah.
to alert them. I'm like,
Exactly.
what is happening?
Yeah, there was a little bit too much that I think that they might have just had to add, because if you take away reading the book and you're just watching the movie, I guess you kind of need something to bring people to realize, oh, they actually are time traveling compared to
I guess.
the book where we just know because that's what we're experiencing. I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense, but it really
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah, I don't know. My only other thing, it was a change I liked, was I like how when they're doing is the Bogart, however you say that thing, the Bogart lesson. I like in the movie that they let Harry do it and he creates the Dementor in front of everyone, because I feel like in the book it's so, right when Harry gets up, he's cut off and then he has to do all these lessons. There's only one lesson in the book. I mean, in the movie
know.
for the Patronus.
I know.
They would have spent a lot of time on that. But also, I love when Lupin gets up and it fully is a moon with clouds. If someone
It's
did
not
not
an
get
orb.
that, in the book it's an orb, which makes more sense why people are not picking up on it. But I mean, I'm sorry, if you did not learn that he was a werewolf because he's scared of the moon and clouds, that's concerning.
Yeah, it was again a piece, because when you're reading the book, there are breadcrumbs, and in the movie, you have to literally get it kind of shoved in your face of, hey, this is a moon with clouds.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
He's a werewolf.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the other thing, because I love, the teachers. I feel like we just don't get enough of them in the movies. You do get a little breadcrumb in this book of how important Trelawney is going to be later on, because when she does
Mhm.
that crazy prediction to Harry, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest,
Yeah.
he tells Dumbledore. And Dumbledore makes a comment like, oh, that would be the second prediction she's ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, it kind of makes you question, like, okay, if he knows that she's not very good, why does she work here then?
Right. And
Which
it's
comes
so
into play in the
important.
later book.
Mm-hmm.
Of
And
why
it's so
she's
well
at
done.
Hogwarts
Yeah.
underneath Dumbledore's protection.
Yeah. Again, another thing. At first, you maybe first read, you don't read into it. You're just, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Maybe he likes hearing her predictions, even as wonky as they might be,
Yeah.
fake predictions, I'll say. But
Mhm. But again, I mean, the book where that comes out was not written yet when this movie was being made. So I understand. I think when they do the TV show, they will include more of these things because now you'll know what is a breadcrumb and what isn't.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just weird. Like this one, is really where they started to change things. But some of the changes, I was like, why did you change that?
Yeah, because I get the first two. Oh, you don't want certain characters involved. Maybe you want to keep it still focused on the core three and all that stuff. And they still had some of that in this one. But for the most part, it was the same group. It wasn't as if they left Neville out too much. I mean, there were pieces, but it wasn't primarily where he was a focus in scenes where they left him out.
Yeah.
It was just weird things. That's okay. I guess creative choices on that one.
Yeah, and this one, so the first two have the same director. This one is a different director. And rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, he loves an artistic transition between the scenes. Like, we are zooming in on snow. He loves a butterfly. Always a butterfly flapping around, has no relevance to the story.
Yeah, and even the bird that keeps getting killed by the Whomping Willow, it just keeps killing multiple birds. Every time we started laughing. It's so bad.
It's just, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then there's one scene. Oh, they're oh my god, what scene is it? Oh crap. It's like, oh, Harry's sitting on a rock. The other two are standing, and it like zooms out. It looks like a painting. I'm like, what is this?
I know. And not something that they had any control over. But this one is the new Dumbledore. And they introduce him by the school singing with the frogs and stuff in the first scene. And then they just introduce him. Now, I have to say, we've talked about this. I don't know if it was on the pod or just over chat. But they picked two perfect different varieties of Dumbledore. This one is the cracked out one. And the first one was the calm, mellow one that we're told we get. I like both versions. The cracked out one, because obviously he's in more, I find so entertaining because he's wild. It wouldn't have had the same impact in the fourth one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you imagine rest in peace to the first one.
Yeah.
He was great. But could you imagine him again? I don't know if people listening maybe are reading this for the first time, so I don't want to spoil too much, but in a later book when they have to be on that boat, could you imagine the first one doing that?
No, but no, he's too calm. But I loved him in the sense of they pictured him perfectly. The long beard. He was that calming sense of everything's going to be okay. You're safe here. All of that. And I loved it so much. And, R.I.P. to him and all of that situation. It was terrible. But the guy they picked for the second one, they did such a great job because he really made the rest of the series for how cracked out he was. And I feel like it fits more because we joke about this all the time. Every teacher kind of made sense why they were hired. Lockhart? No, this cracked out Dumbledore totally makes sense. I just want some fun in this school. I'm picking Lockhart. He's useless. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It feels like that would be the Dumbledore version that would pick him as a professor. Like
troublemaker vibes. Like at the end, he's like, "What was done?"
Yeah, he just winks and walks on. Bye.
Yeah, he's a troublemaker. Yeah, he's crazy.
He's crazy.
Also, because J.K. Rowling did say that Dumbledore is gay.
Yeah.
And has like a little crush on Harry, which a little weird. The age difference
just seems odd.
Relations. But like this one, I could see doing that.
Yeah,
he's a little flirty.
He's very odd. He is definitely eccentric. I cannot say that word. Thank you. I cannot say the word.
The one from the first and second. Could you imagine him flirting with the students?
No. He's grandpa vibes of just I'm chilling.
He's like. Yeah.
I'm wise, I'm here.
I just picture him drinking hot cocoa. That's it.
This one is, oh man, no, I love the energy he brings. And like you said, when you get in the farther movies and books, he just fits the role, I think, in my opinion, a lot better. But it would have been interesting to see. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I will be interested to see how the show is with the Dumbledore they pick and what version do they go? Do they go calm or do they go cracked out? Or do they go somewhere in the middle?
Based on the actor who is playing him, I think it's going to be cracked out.
I think so too.
That for us. because
Yeah,
that's what
I
we
love it
need.
too.
Or you can be calm in the beginning, but then as shit starts to hit the fan, you're like, okay, every year we got something going on.
Yeah.
I gotta be crazy.
Yeah. Even, oh my God, at the end. So when Buckbeak doesn't get killed and Hagrid's like, all right, I guess we can go inside. And Dumbledore goes, I could go for, something or a large brandy. And he just walks in with his beads just lifting up his skirt. And, it's just, it's so
He's
good.
great. It's a perfectly cast movie. I'm sorry. Everyone is perfect for their role.
Yeah,
the only
it really
thing
is.
I wanted just more Snape in the grandma's outfit.
Me too. 5 minutes. I don't know.
Just more. Just have him come back and do another loop.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
good. It's just, some interesting things. And then now we'll really start to enter the territory where, like, full storylines are just removed.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy because every time I read it, I forget of how much is actually removed from 4 to 7. And I would say 7 a little bit less because I did do the 2 movies. So 4 through 6 are huge chunks are removed. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be fun to reread them again because I just see the movies all the time. So you forget about things very easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like spew. Completely gone. Neville's important.
That would have been so good. Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot. Also, in the night bus, the little, like, head that they have that does the jokes, is he in the book? I don't remember.
Nope.
So he's new. He was there for comedic relief.
He was cracked out. I think they just went cracked out on this one. I really do. I think they just went
And there's no one else on the bus, even though in the book there is.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people, I feel like, in the book. Yeah. I don't know. And doesn't he... They spend more time, even the fact that he's Neville Longbottom, and then,
they didn't even say that in this.
Yeah, I think he says it maybe once, but then, like, they don't even freak out at the end that it's actually Harry Potter. It's just kind of a, okay, bye, toodles.
Yeah. Bye. We'll see ya. They're, like, off right away.
Yeah.
But it was good. I like both.
It was.
But if you had to choose, which one are you picking? The book?
I'm picking the book. Yeah, I'm picking the book. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Gary Oldman as Sirius Black is my favorite character of all time. I love him in the movies, but I wish we got more of him in the movies. So I love him in the book because I can picture him as that guy. Yeah. But in the book, so it makes it so much better for me.
I need to check out his teeth situation in the next encounter in the movie because his teeth are rotted in this movie, and I don't remember that being the case in the later book.
I don't think so. I think he just magically fixes his teeth.
Gets some dental work. I think personally for me, I'm going to go movie. Mainly just because these first 3 books, they're just a little bit not my writing style at this age that I'm at. Reading level that I'm at. And this one was never my favorite. Like, this and Chamber of Secrets are my least favorite books. So I'm not really gravitating towards picking them back up. So I'm going to go movie on this. But I like both of them. Yeah. I get whatever you want to give me, I'll read, I'll watch. Mm-hmm. I'm not feeling a strong
pull. Can have the movie in the background. Yeah.
Now, 4, that'll be a really hard question for me.
I think doing both the book and the movie again, but near each other, because I've never done it where I read the book and then watch the movie. It's usually I just read the whole series and then maybe watch the movies a couple weeks later. I never do the back-to-back. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting as we get into 4. Yeah. Even 6 for me was a favorite. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Honestly, that's how I feel about 5. Like, when I read the book for 5, I was like, I didn't love it. And that is a movie I catch a lot when it's just on TV or whatever. And watching the movie so many times really has made me love that book.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about 6 too. Like, I love it. I will say the movie that I'll just go right on record. I'll say it. Spoiler. The movie that I do not love is book 7 part 1.
Part 1. Same.
Boring.
It's terrible.
It's like 4 hours long and it's like nothing happens. I can't say more but like we find one thing.
There were aspects that they left out that they should have kept in.
Yes.
And then pieces they could have gotten rid of, and they could have cut the movies at a different time.
Yeah,
not
so I'm
when they
excited
did.
to read that and then watch right after and just completely freak out about how they could have made that better.
Everything. Yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot in that one.
So you
So
have a lot to look forward to.
yeah, stay tuned to all of the chaos that's going to ensue when we go to the next ones.
Yeah.
So we're actually changing things a bit for 2026. So instead of doing 2 episodes that are based on books, we're just going to do the first episode of each month. We'll focus on our book club pick. And then the next episode will just be about everything else we're reading. Because we're reading a lot and we're also reading different things, which is really nice because it's not as if we have the same exact books every single time. So there'll be a lot of variety that we can talk about. So with that, our next episodes, we're just going to be diving into the books for the rest of this month. And as always, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and join our Fable Book Club at Booktroverts Pod. And stay tuned next time. See you then. Bye.
Bye.